I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus TCG, and I'm coming at y'all with a deck profile. We are going to be looking at 3 combined structure decks, the Lair of Darkness. We're trying to go for a budget build here. And without further ado, we're just going to hop right into the profile, explain some of the ratios. So, I play 3 of the Darkest Diablos. It's your boss monster of the deck. You don't necessarily have to see it. It just helps to try to get this into the grave as quickly as possible. If Foolish Burial had come in this, that would have been absolutely amazing, because then we could just send this and we could afford to just play maybe 1 or 2, but we need to be able to either add it or draw into it and pitch it with our draw cards, or pitch it with other spells. And we're playing 3 Arima, the Wicked Warden. This is just a great starter card to have. You discard it, add a Lair of Darkness, or you can tribute itself to draw a card, or you just tribute a dark monster to add, well, if you tribute a dark monster other than itself, you can add a dark monster with 2,000 or more defense, which is usually adding Diablos. And we are playing 3 Lilith, another really good starter card that gets you into the traps you need. And the best part is it's a quick effect, which has a cool interaction with one of the cards in our deck. But all you have to do is tribute a dark monster, reveal 3 normal traps, and then your opponent randomly picks one, and you set it. Then we're playing 3 Duke Shade. This card is not it's a free special summon. You can't obviously make it turn 1. Oh well, I guess you can make it turn 1. You're just tributing monsters, and if you can get a Diablos engrave before you tribute for this effect, you can trigger it because you tribute dark monsters as cost, which then sets off Diabolos. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that card, but we're gonna keep calling it Diablos. Good free special summon. And you can also add a card back from your grave if it's normal or special. And it's got to be a level 5 or higher dark monster. But that's neither here nor there, because the one you're trying to add back is usually going to be used as an extender, like for Boogie Trap or for hand destruction. Then we have Stygian Street Patrol. The first effect really doesn't matter all that much, but you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Fiend monster, 2,000 attack or less from your hand. This has cool interactions with Lilith and pretty much every card in your deck except for the Big Poppy Diablos, whatever. Then we're playing 3 Lair of Darkness. This card is pretty nutty. It's not so nutty that it deserves to be like whined about, but the fact that it tributes its cost, so you can tribute your opponent's monsters as cost, is kind of annoying. But for those who don't know what this does, all face-up monsters in the field become dark. Once returned, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you can tribute 1 dark monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. So that allows you to have some pretty nutty plays. You can just tribute your opponent's really strong monsters for cost, which is great. And then during the end phase, once returned during the end phase, special summon as many tokens as possible to the turn's player's field and defense position up to the number of monsters tributed this turn while this card was face up. So that has some really nice effects with this deck, or some really nice synergy with the deck, because you can just tribute those. Foolish Burial Goods, great reprint, and allows you to pitch all of your traps. Hand Destruction, just a consistency card, trying to get the stuff you need in the grave so that you can draw, but you also have to let your opponent essentially unbrick their hands. And you're really just kind of relying on them having a bad or a good hand and drawing into a bad hand. Allure of Darkness, I only play 2 of these because more times than not, your cards in hand are resources that you need. But because this deck has so many normal summons, I guess you could potentially put 3 of this in and take 1 of the hand destruction out, but I really like the hand destruction at 3 instead of the Allure of Darkness. Don't want to banish my resources when most of these have float effects. And then Boogie Trap, Pretty cool card. You get to discard 2 cards and target 1 trap in your grave, set that target, and you can activate it that turn, which is great. It has some cool synergy. Like I said in the opening, you can have this and a tributable monster, a dark monster that you can use for all the viruses. So this, a monster, and a Foolish Burial Goods is pretty good. And then 2 Recurring Nightmare for late game, unless like turn 1 somehow you were able to get both Lilith and Arimon to the field or into the grave, and then you can add them both back. And then our traps, playing 3 of the new one, Grinning Grave Virus, allowing you to destroy monsters, which is good. But if you don't know the whole effect, it's tribute 1 dark monster with 3,000 or less attack. Your opponent destroys 1 card of their choice in their hand or deck for every 500 attack that monster had on the field. And if you tributed a monster with 2,000 or more attack, to activate this, you can look at your opponent's hands for pretty much the next 3 turns and destroy monsters. So, I think the problem with this card is that they get to choose the cards that they get to destroy. So if it's stuff that is relevant in the grave, I guess they can just destroy that stuff. But then we have cards like Full Force Virus, where you tribute on 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense. So we're pretty much just tributing Diablos or Duke. You get to look at your opponent's hand and all monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of the 3rd turn after this card's activation. Destroy all those monsters with 1,500 or less defense. So that covers a lot of ground, quite a bit. And then we have their Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, pretty much just letting you choose spell or traps to get out of your hand, really putting your opponent at a disadvantage if you can get both these off. And then we play 3 Mind Crush, just because any card that you see with the viruses, you're going to be able to Mind Crush that. And then the 1 Rise to Full Heights. You have a 1 in 40 chance of drawing it, so let's hope you don't draw it, but there have been a couple times where I have drawn this. But you still are able to get it in the grave with a lot of other cards, and this has some cool effects with Lilith, because Lilith is a quick effect, so you can just use this in grave to target Lilith, and then quick effect tag out later on in the turn, so that they can't attack any of your monsters for the rest of the turn, which is great. I don't see any reason to play any more than this. If it's just for that interaction, drawing it's going to suck, so that's why just playing 1 and trying to send it with Foolish Goods is usually good enough to at least allow you another turn. That is the deck profile. It's 40 cards, no extra deck. This is just what we have in the Lair of Darkness. If y'all would like to see a profile of still a budget version, but maybe something a little more relevant with cards that aren't in the structure deck, let me know down in the comment section below. But for now, here is the budget version, and let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Let me know if you think I should change any of the ratios, or if you really appreciate some of these ratios. Let me know down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and this is Alex from Plus 3 TCG signing out, y'all.